Billy back here with Broship of the Nerds, and this is Stay or Go episode 3, Beetlejuice, the 2024 film. Now, I have a lot to share about this. So, when it was announced that a second movie was being made, I was beyond excited. My friend and I have some friends I go to movies with. Well, this friend in particular, I go with more movies than anybody else. In fact, the majority of the films that I've seen this year and last year has been with this friend of mine, and she's retired, and we have a blast together. Um, I call her my local, she's one of my best friends. Well, anyways, I went ahead and looked ahead and got us tickets to see the new one. Didn't know what to expect, but I knew I was excited, and then I saw that AMC was doing exclusive popcorn containers, and so I was like, I have to be there early. So I remember the early premiere was on a Thursday, and they had it on a big IMAX screen. I mean, this thing was giant, really big screen. And I was like, we gotta go. So we went, and I was not disappointed. So as soon as we got our like as soon as we checked in, and they've checked our tickets and everything, we went to the concessions, and I was like, hey, are you guys? What do you have for the Beetlejuice sequel? And they're like, oh, okay. Well, we have quite a bit here. And if you buy it, you get a large drink and a large popcorn. I'm like, well, I don't really need that much, but what do you got? So the first thing they showed me was this cup. And it's got the movie title right there. And you got your Beatles and the tie on the front. And they said, we have 3 different toppers that go on these cups. And I received Here Lies Beetle Guy's headstone. Now, if you don't know the significance of this, the first movie, there is the headstone of Beetle Guys right there, and it lights up, and it's amazing. It's part of the model. I love the detail on that. So I got this cup, just now discovered it said that, to be honest, because I've never looked that closely at this, but I loved it. And then, like, we also have popcorn container in. It was wrapped, handbook for the recently diseased. Oh, wait a minute. No, handbook for the recently deceased, and it's a popcorn container that I am having technical difficulties with. It opens up. Obviously, when they give you the popcorn, they give it into a traditional bucket, which was nice, and they wrapped this for me. So immediately I took it to my friend's car because I didn't want to have it in there and accidentally like drop it or break it or whatever. But this was a must-have for me. So I got there early. We were one of the first people in line. I picked this up, took it to the car, got my popcorn, got my drink, and then we went to see the movie. Now, there are moments where they say like a kid in a candy store or where your childhood comes back. This was it for me. No, I did not grow up with the film, but anything Tim Burton I love. I'm always intrigued when I see a trailer for a show like Wednesday, a movie, or anything, and it's by Tim Burton. I immediately want to go see it. He just has, it's my sort of aesthetic, right? I like the gothic. I love that kind of stuff. So we went to this film during the previews. At the end of each preview, I'm leaning forward in my chair, like, okay, is this the movie? Is this the movie? And my friend's like, the movie will play eventually. But I was so excited. Like, I just kept leaning, is this it? Is this it? I was just so ready for the movie to start. And I was smiling from ear to ear from when the movie started and then at the end because it was so ridiculous. One of my friend goes, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. Let's go see it again. We saw it 3 times in like 2 weeks. I bought a copy and I had pre-ordered the steelbook. So you've got the cover with Michael Keaton's Beetlejuice in the front, and then on the back you have Lydia. Now let me see if it works on here. This is a glow in the dark. There's a little bit of light in the room, but you can kind of see where it lights up, and then yeah, so it glows in the dark. And then I did keep the this has a slip on it. So the slip here, you have him underneath here, and then you have Lydia on the back. Worth the pickup. On occasion, will splurge on a title I really like. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. The first one and this one, I love both of them. I know this one had more divisive fan base, but it's still one of my favorites because it was so ridiculous and over the top, and they knew what they were doing and rolled with it. But yeah, so I got all that. Sit in, watched the movie, enjoyed the hell out of it, and then did a little research. We, my friend and I, decided we were going to go back to the East Coast last year, and we decided we're going to go to Vermont. And while we're there, we're going to go to the town where the movie was filmed. So we go to the town, and I knew a little bit ahead of time, not a lot, but I knew a little bit. And we get there, and there was a guy that was a big fan, and he helped work on the second film, and he was telling us where to go to find the stuff from the movies. So you go to this hill in the distance, and you can see where the house would have sat. And he was explaining it to us that the house was so big, it was 750,000 just for the model for the movie, just to have it as the set built. It would have cost like, I forget what he said, like 5 million. Yeah, I want to say it was like 5 to 7 million to build that house for real, to where people could come visit, stay in like an Airbnb in there. They're a small town, East Corn, Vermont, and I think they like it that way. It's very calm. It's very peaceful. Uh, there's like one gas station that sells some food and stuff. There's no restroom there or anything, but they do sell food, and there's just not a lot there, but it was a nice town. You could tell that they had took pride in it. They were nice people. This guy was really friendly. He told us around. So we saw that. We go to this bridge, and the bridge, of course, was not covered because we found out that's the body of water where the Maitlands met their demise. So when you're there, the bridge, original one's been torn down. For the second film, they built another bridge, and what they did, he told us go down a couple of miles down the road, and they have like picnic tables and stuff with the bridge over it, and it has the speed limit sign from the second movie. But then right next to that is like a restaurant. Now it was closed when we went, but it was a little bit later in the day, so they probably were only open for early part of the day or select days or whatever. But it was nice. You could tell it was in good shape, and it was nice. And then we found Miss Shannon's School for Girls, and he was explaining that Burton loved the roof, the way it was set up, like building up to the roof, the top of the building. He loved the way that was. So they have used that in for the house. That was inspired by Miss Shannon's School for Girls. They used it for that Maitland's house. They also used it for Nevermore Academy and Wednesday. So if you actually look very closely, you can see the similarities there, except the difference being obviously in Wednesday it's black, and in Beetlejuice movies it's white. And I'm trying not to say it 3 times in a row too, because I don't want him lurking around here. But yeah, so they kept that inspiration, and of course I was a Burton fan. I was one of those that didn't discover Burton until I'd seen some of his films. James the Giant Peach, which he produced, ended up being one of my early favorites. But of his films, the first Beetlejuice and the second one, those are two of my top ones. There are some others up there with them, but yeah, Wednesday's my favorite project overall he's done. But just that, knowing that, and then now that I've been there, I realized there's some stuff we missed. They had built a facade in what was in front of what the hardware store was for the first movie, and that building sadly is falling apart. Um, it is for sale, but it needs a lot of work. If you were to actually open it and call it like the hardware shop or Maitland's Hardware, that would be awesome. But that building's still there. They built a facade. In the second one, there's like a coffee shop and some other stuff. And we missed some stuff. And then the library is supposed to have some things there too to look at. But I enjoyed it. So having said all that in the story, that just adds to it for me. It just being able to say I went to where they filmed part of the movie. Part of it was also filmed in England. Um, it makes you appreciate it more. And then the guy in town told us that Ortega's character, Astrid, Jenna was riding her bike like past his house and like down the road on the bridge and everything, which is awesome because she's my favorite actress. So I got to hear a lot of stories. My favorite director, Burton, favorite actress, Jenna, and then I'm a big fan of Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder, obviously. And then how can you not like Willem Dafoe? So not only was this movie great, Danny DeVito, it had great cast in both of them. I love the films and just the gothic style. And to me, Beetlejuice is the perfect way to kick off spooky season. Like September is kind of, for me, when I start my spooky season because I associate that with kind of the start of fall because you know August you have like fairs and stuff, so summer's still going, and then usually at the end of August, early September, school is starting. So then I'm like, okay, I get into the mindset of fall. So I don't really get myself into the spooky mindset. I mean, I watch horror anytime, but what I'm saying is I don't elevate it until September. And everybody is different. There's nothing wrong with that. There are already people um, getting ready for Halloween now. That's great. But I find that to me it's special during the fall when the leaves start changing. So everyone has a different mentality about it. But oh yeah, this one stays in the collection for sure. This is one of my top Burton films. It's up there with my favorites are both Beetlejuice films, Sleepy Hollow, of course. An underrated one, Dark Shadows. I really like that one. I know a lot of people didn't. Corpse's Bride is great. Mars Attacks is fun for what it is if you're into that kind of thing. I went to watch Planet of the Apes, and the copy I had was like a sale copy, so it wasn't guaranteed. It wasn't cleaned properly. I think it was only like $5, but I had to throw it away because it wouldn't play. Wednesday, of course, be my favorite Burton project. As I said, as you can see the poster and the figure behind me there, I'm a big Wednesday fan, and we'll get into that in a series review at some point. The plan is if you guys pop over to the other channel I'm on, the Trick TRICK or OR Treaters. If you go over to that YouTube channel, and I think we spelled that TREATERS, so Trick or Treaters, you go over there. We do movie reviews, and we also have talked about doing some Halloween stuff. So yeah, check that out for those videos. So it stays in the collection. Like I said, I'm a big Burton fan, so pretty much anytime you see me do a Burton review, you know I'm going to be a little bit biased because I love his style. Even on the films that were considered a miss, like Miss Peregrine's, I still enjoy because I like the aesthetic. There's something about Burton's unique style and vision that just pulls me in. It's like this speaks to me. Frankenweenie, very underrated film. Really like that one. Probably my least favorite, and this is I don't know if he produced or 9. What it just felt slow. Do I enjoy it? Yeah, it's all right. Like the first time, I remember liking it more the first time than after a rewatch. But I like his style. Very unique. There's a bar. I did not get to go, but I'm hoping to go next year. There's a bar in New York called Beetlejuice, and I want to go see that because I heard that's really awesome. And yeah, so someday I will go through some of my Wednesday collection. But anytime I see something Burton related and I think it looks cool, I go ahead and grab it because eventually I'm wanting to do like a home theater that is either Beetlejuice or Burton or Wednesday style. So Burton-esque at least in its influence. So that's kind of my plan. But this has been Stay or Go for Beetlejuice, and I hope you guys have a great one. Thank you.